when I got out of the Marines and stopped wearing shoes, you know, then I thought it was my memorial, but it was my act of defiance, because people would say to me, how come you don't wear shoes? And I'd say, I don't feel like it. You got a problem with that? Because I was angry and I'd fight anybody. And back then wasn't a good time to be into the military, because it's like the way the media has it that we were monsters and baby killers. What group of 17-year-olds decide that they want to go over and start a war? So I felt the media had a moral obligation, which they abused and blamed us for something that they did. So I was really angry. But part of my anger was I was lost, because when I was in the military, I had a purpose. I had a mission. When I got out, you know, people looked at me with disgust and spit at me. That just made the anger worse, and I had no place to go. And I owned my own business, so I created my own world to keep me away. Because after I lived in the woods for a year, because I couldn't even deal with people, I just wanted to hit everybody. And I lived in the woods for a year, and I used the GI Bill to go to college, and you know, and then I started to calm down because I've been home for a while, and I started to have a purpose and create a business. But that business became my own world to stay away from the world. And I had a gym, and so I'd work out when I'd get angry. So I was working out all the time. I was pretty scary back then. But the problem was, after I'd work out, and 5 minutes later someone pissed me off, and I'd be fighting with them. So I was pretty miserable. And it didn't really dawn on me how miserable I was until 9/11 happened. And then it just brought all that stuff back again, because I heard the same verbiage, you know, we have no recourse but war. And I just saw the same thing happening to those kids that happened to us. And that was unacceptable to me. And I thought, well, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to go on this walk, and I'm going to create awareness, and go to Washington. They're going to get a law passed for mandatory counseling. I'm going to be a hero. My work is done. I went into this one town, and it was a small town, 700-800 people. And everybody in that town that I met that found out what I was doing, because they'd look down at my feet and they'd say, oh, you're the guy. You got to talk to this guy before you go. We have this logo. You'll see that there's a little girl walking with a guy. Before I left, I see this guy walking, holding this little girl's hand, and all I could think of was that he was like a balloon, and she's the only thing that held him to this earth. I stopped him and we talked, and he was angry. I mean, you could see it. And I didn't know what to say or what to do. How could I help this guy? There was nothing I could do at that time. And, you know, so this whole thing evolved for me. You know, that whole walk, I went to Washington, and it's like I went and talked to a brick wall. You know, they said a lot of great things. Oh, you're doing great work, keep it up, but nothing changed. Nothing happened that I could see. I found out that that walk was my penance to forgive myself for sitting on my hands for 33 years, being angry, letting other people's kids get killed for what I don't know. 4 years goes by after my walk. I finished that in 2007. Well, 3 years went by. I was taking care of my parents in Florida. And I'm thinking, what else can I do? So I made a sign that I still have and I still walk with. And it said, back then, it was because it was 2010, it said 18 vets a day commit suicide. I walked with that sign 5 days a week while I was in the Keys. When my father died, I took off and went across the country. I started at Concord, Mass with that sign and carrying a petition, because now this time I knew what I was doing. Oh, now I got a plan, and I'm going to go to Washington and get it instituted. And then my work is done. You know, I always had this thing that, you know, my work is going to be done somewhere along the line, and I'm going to be a hero, because it was all about me still. I thought I was hot stuff. Within the first week, I'm walking in this, I get thrown out of a government building, And I'm in this bad neighborhood, and I step on this broken headlight. 1.5 inches of piece of glass goes through my foot. And you know how, like, I don't know if you've ever been in shock, but you know, where you get that tunnel vision, you start to sweat. And I pulled the glass out of my foot. I thought I was going to pass out. Then I packed it with dirt. And I carried a phone, and I would always call like my brother or my sister. And I always thought I was calling to let them know what I was doing, but I called them so I had a grip on me. And I called my brother up complaining, oh, I stepped on this glass, I hurt my, you know. And my brother says, hey, Ron, nobody asked you to do this. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I'm still feeling down and out, you know, oh, this is crazy, this is stupid, why am I doing this? And I walk into this, I'm still in this bad neighborhood. In this bad neighborhood, the houses are so close you could put a New York phone book between them. And there's broken down cars in the front yard, you know, broken up telephone poles. In this 1 yard in the front, he's got a strip of grass that's like 2 foot wide by 5 foot long, manicured, cut with a lawnmower, fertilized everything, and I start laughing. I'm like, what was this guy thinking? And then I thought about it. You know what? That guy doesn't care what anybody thinks. He did that for him. And then I thought, I'm going to do this walk for me because I care. It matters to me.